All right, so shifting gears a bit from some of the other things that we've been talking about, I thought we would talk about the issue that some vegetarians have kind of really latched onto, which is this idea, I think, popularized by Colin Campbell's A China Study and his movie Knives Over Forks, that in some way eating vegetarian and plant-based diet, as he says, is much more healthy, decreases your rates of cancer and so forth. So we know that that research has been kind of scientifically very hotly debated, and there have been a lot of kind of accusations against him. So I thought it'd be good to have a nutrition scientist to speak to these issues.
Yeah. Well, I think his bottom line is absolutely right. I think the more plant-based the diet, the healthier it is. Lower cancer rates, obesity rates, hypertension, stroke, you name it. The more vegetable, the greater percentage of your diet that's made up of plant-based foods is clearly beneficial. The controversies are two. One is Colin is very outspoken. Academics generally are not outspoken. We're rather timid when it comes to talking in the press, and that irritates a lot of people. Secondly, the inferences that he makes from his data from a strictly scientific point of view can be challenged on epidemiological grounds and scientific grounds. But given all that, still his bottom line is the same line that I advocate, that Miriam Nestle advocates. The more plant-based foods we consume, the healthier we'll be.
Yeah, so one issue there that we've been dealing with is this question of whether or not that kind of view means you should eliminate all animal-based protein from your life, or if that's just kind of an extreme way of spinning this sound advice.
Yeah, it is extreme, and fortunately, most people won't take the extreme anyway. There is a proclivity of humans to move towards an animal-based diet, move towards the consumption of meat in every culture that's ever been studied. Yeah. And in part, it's due to probably the most powerful law in all of psychology. It's called the law of least effort. You get the most calories per volume of food that you consume if you consume meat. And behaviorally, that's the way we gravitate, is in that direction. So you're not going to make everybody vegetarians. On the other hand, you need people like Colin to wave a flag at the powerful forces that are pushing us in the other direction to consume meat and meat products, dairy products. So it's a good counterbalance.
Yeah. Yeah, and one thing that he touches a little bit on, and that one of our other guests, Harold Brown, discusses, is this idea that, as far as I understand, is pretty hotly debated whether or not casomorphine is something that can be addicting, this element that's in cheese and dairy products. Yeah. I was, wondering if you had an opinion on that kind of work.
Yeah, I don't think the evidence is very good that any food can be addicting. I know the former Surgeon General Kalb has been pushing this idea that we can become addicted to foods, and there is one of the arguments to counter the powerful dairy industry is, first of all, that milk is not the perfect food, and that's been a major force in particularly in children's consumption for a long time. However, the idea that elements in the food can be addicting, I think, is very weak. It's based on animal studies. Animals are not humans. They are, you can do experiments with greater doses over more intense manipulations than you can in humans. And given the variation in our behaviors in humans, I doubt very much if you could establish such a relationship in humans.